Ian, we have voice messages that you could leave us. We're going to go through some, and you can go to anchor.fm/the CU podcast. You can also listen to the full audio podcast there if you weren't aware, but you can leave us voice messages. Try to keep them under 30 seconds, whatever you do. Like that's where I start to glaze over. So we're going to go through some of these here. I have them marked down, some of these on here. You can follow along, Ian. The first one's going to be from Andrew that we're going to play when I get down to the bottom here. Let's see. Wow, there's a lot of voicemails. Here's from Andrew, also known as Lil Robitussin.
Hey guys, it's Lil Robitussin again.
What's up, Lil
I appreciate you guys
Robitussin?
having me on the show last week. It made my week for sure. My question for both of you is, it's crazy I don't know this, but what is your favorite and least favorite games of all time?
Andrew, I love you, buddy. But if this was the highlight of your week, man, you got to have a better week. I appreciate you liking us on the
COVID times, man.
It is COVID time, so the scales are off. So what do you think, Ian? We usually don't like these questions, by the way.
Hate these types of questions, so I'm just gonna pull answers out of my ass. So I used to always say DuckTales. As time has gone on, I've changed it to Killer 7. Killer 7 is a GameCube, PS2 game. I think there's PC ports now. It's a Suda51 game. It's a bizarre fucking game. Weird narrative. Flat cel-shaded art style. I really like it. Least favorite game. I can never remember the exact name, but it is a Hong Kong only Famicom game called Street Hero or something like
What?
that. It's fucking miserable.
Street Hero?
It is
that like Street Combat, which is terrible?
It's a one-on-one fighting game, and it is probably the worst video game I've ever played. It's so bad.
I'm looking at it right now, a playthrough.
I think it's called Street Hero.
It'd be funny if it's just Street. Remember how bad Street Combat was on Super Nintendo?
Yeah, it's not. It's a regular NES game. I think it's Street.
Oh, it's NES. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said Super Nintendo.
No, NES.
So it was a licensed game. Oh, it was unlicensed. Sorry.
No, it was licensed.
No, it's Sachin. It's unlicensed. Street Heroes. Is that the one?
That might not be it.
Hey, for an NES game, fighting game, it's not bad. There's a pink lady. There's a red guy with a sword.
Is it the one?
Actually, it doesn't look. Maybe it's a different one. This one doesn't look horrible for an NES game. If it was a Super Nintendo, it would be horrible. All right, so that's yours. All right, I'm gonna switch it up. Least favorite game is always tough for me to come up with. You know what? Fuck it. My favorite game right now is going to be Rolling Thunder. Favorite arcade game. That's what it is right now at the moment. Is going to be Rolling Thunder. It's a twitchy, reflex-based game, fast action, easy to learn, hard to master like Othello. Rolling Thunder.
Oh yeah, you love it.
That's why it's a perfect arcade game, because most arcade games, Ian, automatically kick your ass at a certain point in time, even if you're good at them, to get your quarters. Rolling Thunder, if you become a master at that game, you can get through a chunk of it without another quarter, and there's an end to it. I love arcade games that have a freaking ending. Not just high score. But it's still difficult enough that it can kick your ass like Pac-Man or Miss Pac-Man. You can still be out pretty quick. That's why I love Rolling Thunder. Least favorite's always tougher for me to go for it, because why do I think about least favorite games? How about Tag and Dragon, Ian? Yes.
I'd rather play Tag and Dragon than fucking Raid 2020, but
Raid 2020 has a cartoonish charm to it, though. Tag and Dragon, let me eat that dragon's ass for points.
True.
That's all it is. All right, next question here. Let's see, a little Robitussin.
Hey guys, this is Chris from North Carolina. Just wondering your thoughts on how much a console's collectability is going to be dictated by the types of games it has available. Older stuff like Nintendo and Genesis, even PS1, are pretty well-rounded libraries, and I feel like most people can find something to love on those. But I'm a big OG Xbox guy, and I feel like I'm drowning in like sports and racing and shooters, and I feel like that probably alienates a lot of people from that console, people who are into RPGs or platformers or whatever. But yeah, thanks.
I think he makes good points. I think the NES is popular because there was such a well-rounded library on there. Excuse me. I think it'll make stuff like PlayStation 2 and even Xbox pretty popular because there are all sorts of games available, and yes, you will drown in sports games and racing games and stuff like that around that era. But especially, say, I would say maybe more PS2 than Xbox, because PS2 had so many RPGs. A well-rounded system is always going to be very popular. However, a system that excels at one type of thing is also going to be very popular. The PC Engine excels at shooters. The Super Nintendo excels at role-playing games. And both of those, so does the PlayStation 1, in fact, for role-playing games. And those systems are very popular with fans of those genres because of how specific they are. I think if you look at the number of shooters on something like the PC Engine, it's like 90. There's websites that keep track of that. I think there's something like 93 different shooters on the PC Engine, and that's far and away more than any other system has.
It's like 20% of the library.
So a lot of people, like me, for instance, I'm going to naturally gravitate towards that system because it has a large chunk of what I like to play.
Yeah, I think you're more likely to attract people to a niche console after the fact than push them away.
Sure.
If that makes sense. All right. Next is, let's see the next one here. Let's see.
Hey, Pat and Ian. This is Luna and Christine.
Luna.
How you doing? We
Howdy.
love your show. We watch every single week, and we're very glad that you guys are still able to do so during the human malware conditions. But wanted to know, the CU podcast, whenever you open up and it has the soundtrack to it, want to know if we could hear the whole thing. Is there any way to get that? How long is it? I think it's really cool. Anyways, that's about it. You guys have a great day.
Toodles.
Bye, you two. Maybe you're taking a stroll in the park there. Yes, the full original, not the remix one, is not online. But CFOs formerly worked with WWE and lots of NXT themes and WWE themes. Unfortunately, now they've redone a lot of them because they're no longer working with them. But for a good 5 years, like a chunk of the best themes were CFOs. So, yeah, that's on YouTube. You can search for that. You can search for that full theme on YouTube. It's under their account has it. I might have uploaded it as well. Did I upload that as well? I might have. But definitely, it's on YouTube. The remix one is not. And there might be legal reasons why that the full one can't go on, unfortunately. But if you look up CU Podcast theme on YouTube, it definitely comes up. Yep, it's uploaded on my channel. Whoa, it's called Whoa, theme from the CU Podcast. Lyrics by Pat Country. There. But great. We love those guys. We haven't seen them since Jersey, right?
Yeah, I haven't.
A few years ago. And we'll get back out to Jersey next year. Oh, there's a drum cover of us. I didn't know that. I just searched it. Someone did a drum cover. That's a big thing now, drum covers. That's awesome. That's awesome. From Wise Drums. So look up that as well. All right, next.
Hey guys, Jeff Dickinson here. And man, I've been following you guys for years. I appreciate your show, not sugarcoating shit and being honest and straightforward. Balls to the wall, being honest. Keep it up, brothers. I appreciate you. Right on, right on, right on. Still following you. Still catching up with your episodes. I'm looking forward to the next one. Laters.
Thanks, Jeff. Your mic's a little bubbly there, a little cutting in and out. He likes our honesty, Ian.
Groovy. Some people don't like our honesty.
Well, because they can't. They're snowflakes. Can't handle a differing opinion.
Snowflakes. All right.
Next one. This is from T Busta.
Hello, Pat and Ian. It's T Busta. You might recognize my name. You've liked a couple of my comments before. I was just curious if you've ever seen the San Onofre boobs before, the nuclear boobs. They're an odd little landmark kind of in between us. I have to pass by them every time I want to go to LA to visit my brother or go to San Diego. Anyway, just thought that might be worth getting on the podcast. So
if anyone's ever seen the Naked Gun, in the first 15 minutes when they come back from the airport, Leslie Nielsen goes, he's broke up with his woman or girlfriend or whatever, and then they talk about it. He goes, whenever I look, something reminds me of her, and he sees two giant orbs with looks like nipples on top, and it's this nuclear, or it used to be like a nuclear facility, and it's still there on the south side of the 5. It's on the south side coming down between LA and San Diego.
Yeah, you see them every time Vonnie and I see them every time we go to Disney. They're a landmark because they usually mean you're roughly halfway between San Diego and Disney. Vonnie always referred to them as the San Onofre Tatas.
Yeah, it's a thing. Look them up online.
Yep.
Okay.
Hey, CU Podcast. This is Goblin Blood. I'm trying again here. Sorry about last time. My question for you guys is, what is your favorite comic book runs and like storylines? And just wanted to say I love the show and keep doing what you're doing. Long time listener and love you guys.
Thanks, Goblin. Yeah, we haven't done a comic thing in a while. But favorite runs, that's always different. Favorite runs, you know what? I'm going old school. The John Romita Jr. run of Amazing Spider-Man once he took over issue 39 up until it went to like about 100 and something. That was always a good run because that's a lot of the classic stories, and the villains got more established by then. First Kingpin, things like that. That's the best version of Spider-Man, how he looks in the costume to me. Spider-Man No More, Green Goblin's revealed. And then you go up to, I think he was still there, Death of Gwen Stacy. So you have a lot of iconic things that happen within 6 years from mid 60s to like early 70s. You have a lot of Spider-Man's like mythos happening right there, more so than a lot of other things that happen after that. And then right after that, it's like the first appearance of Punisher. You have that stupid clone thing that they try to bring up in the fucking late 90s, which was horrifying. But anyway, that's always to me like a good run. People like the McFarlane run of Amazing Spider-Man. I don't, because it's people just like the art. The stories were not that good by then in the late 80s, I thought. Other than that, I'm just thinking of Spider-Man stuff. That's because that's my favorite sort of thing. I'm trying to think of if there's other Spider-Man storyline. The Kraven the Hunter one's a good one. That 6-part one's an excellent one. That could be a whole movie if they ever wanted to do that as a storyline with Kraven the Hunter.
For me, I'm not the most well-versed in comics. That's definitely Vonnie's forte. But there are definitely runs that I really like. Most of these are going to be more recent. One of my favorite comic runs ever is the Iron Fist run that Matt Fraction and Dave Asia did. Same with their Hawkeye run. Was very, very, very good. I'm also a big fan of Planet Hulk, which is kind of like a year-long retelling of Spartacus almost. I mean, they definitely get some inspiration from that.
And they used that for Thor Ragnarok for the movie.
They pulled some of it. Yeah, they pulled from it a little bit. Very good run. I've never considered myself a Hulk fan. Everyone talked about it. I finally picked it up through Vonnie's shop probably like 6-7 years ago. And it's a long run. A lot of those, arcs are, like 6 months. This is a full 12-issue arc, and I put it down in 2 sittings. I couldn't stop reading it. It was very, very good. The follow-up, World War Hulk, was kind of like it was just kind of like a flashy payoff with a lot of like flash and bang, and it wasn't as good, but it was still fun. But Planet Hulk, if you've never considered yourself a Hulk fan, read Planet Hulk.
That's me.
It's a very, very good book. And then as much as I don't like Joss Whedon, his run on Astonishing X-Men from, I want to say 2005, is one of the better X-Men stories I think that was told. And as far as a recent arc, to touch on the X-Men again, I didn't keep up on the relaunch of X-Men as much as I would have liked. It was tough to keep up on all the different issues, but the House of X, Powers of X event that went over the course of 3 months last year that had issues releasing every week was fantastic. It was critically acclaimed for good reason. The art was fantastic. The story was very good. You can pick that up in a trade. Yeah, I mean, all of those are great. Oh, and Next Wave Agents of Hate is fantastic comedy, kind of more comedic run that uses B-listers and C-listers from the Marvel Universe.
I haven't read all of them, but obviously the Chris Claremont X-Men run in the mid-70s up to the mid-80s?
Late 80s.
He was still there in the late 80s before they got out of control.
I want to say.
Obviously, that run is fantastic. Basically, once they rebooted the team, it went from there. in the mid 70s with Giant Size X-Men. And then obviously the early 80s, the Frank Miller Daredevil run is regarded as one of the best probably runs of comics ever. It's up there as well, with Elektra showing up and all that, and Bullseye and all that, where it really added depth to the Daredevil character more so than anything else had. And probably since then they try to always go back to the well with that, with the grief and the Catholic stuff, but that's where it really got famous for that. All right, next.
Hey, top of the morning to you guys. Name is Jason, out here in London, UK. I've been listening to you guys for a little while, maybe a year or two, on my Google, on my Alexa, on my phone. Keep it pushing, keep it moving, man. F COVID, we out here, baby. Dreamcast Mini, man. I'm all for it. Let's go. PS5 on the way. Booyah!
Thanks, J-Bo. I understand a couple of the terms there, but Dreamcast Mini, baby.
Thank you. Yes.
Was there a question there?
No.
Okay.
Shout out.
All right, thanks.
And we
J-Bo.
appreciate it.
Okay. Next is from Brett.
Hey, Pat and Ian. Longtime listener, love the podcast. When you were talking about Analog's new Duo FPGA, have you both considered using a MiSTer FPGA that has an excellent PC Engine, PC CD, Super Graphics core? Thanks for all the quality entertainment over the years. Have a good one.
Yeah, I consider it, but I'm not an engineer, and also the cost doesn't make it worth it for me to check out. And I like using original physical media if I have it. So like, when people bring up the MiSTer stuff to me in the FPGA, you're not talking about hobbyist stuff anymore. You're going a touch above that, because when people used to talk about wanting to just do a RetroPie instead. I always said, well, for some people that's even too complicated. For me, a MiSTer might be too complicated for someone like me, or I'm just like, it's not worth my time to get into it versus the cost, where it's just I'm sort of out of it at that point.
The MiSTer has always seemed interesting to me, but the reason why I have it, I know that a lot of people who buy into the analog stuff are interested in it because there's always the wink, wink, nudge, nudge. They know it's going to be jailbroken almost immediately, and they're going to be able to load up their ROMs and stuff on there. And that's a lot of fun. And I do think that if that's what you're going to do with these systems, even if the MiSTer is going to be more difficult to use, I totally understand that. Yeah, maybe the MiSTer would be something for these people to look into because it can do lots of systems. There's lots of cores for it. My main reason for being interested in the Analog Duo and for having bought the Analog Pocket is precisely because I have physical collections for those systems. In fact, as time goes on, they more and more become the only physical game collections I have. So if I didn't have physical game collections for Game Boy and PC Engine, I probably would have maybe dipped my toes into the water on a MiSTer at this point. But because I have the physical collections, and because there aren't a whole lot of other systems that I feel the need to catch up on anymore, I only have so much time in my day. That's why I'm interested in the analog stuff. I think MiSTer's great, and I think people who can use it and get stuff out of it, it's awesome. I have no problems with it. It's just MiSTer doesn't play the stuff that I already have.
When I look at MiSTer, I look at a project. In my life at this point, I don't need a project to work on. I just don't.
My thing is, I feel like I can get through the project of the actual MiSTer itself and the FPGA, like setting that up. My thing is, honestly, I don't want to go out and look for ROMs. I don't want to go. I don't want to try to find the right CD rips of these Turbo or PC Engine games when I have the CD sitting on my shelf and I can just drop it into a system and go.
But I'm telling you, this is someone who puts together, I can put together a computer. So I'm not like, I know how to do this stuff a little bit. But a pre-configured bundle is $335 on this MiSTeraddons.com. Then I'm looking at, buy your own heatsink and buy your own fan and buy your own adapters and PCB. I'm like, I'm putting together a computer. I'm basically putting together a MIDI computer at this point. And that, again, to me, that does not appeal to me versus the cost. This isn't something that's $100. It's a lot more than that. And for what I know, the costs are even only this low because these boards are subsidized by the chip manufacturers, or else they'd be a lot more money than even this. So at that point, yeah, I get it. Over the long haul, it might be cheaper, but it's not a finished product that's commercial ready. And again, no physical media. I'm out. I like to have the option to use physical media. Just the option. That'd be nice, easily.
And people, there is, and some people even frown upon this because they say, "Oh, you don't want to put the effort in."
No,
people
I don't have to.
People like to open a fucking box and plug it in and go.
I got stuff going on here. Ian yells at me because I don't play enough modern games. I'm gonna then spend tons of time to play older games again. Sorry, not gonna do it. But no, if you like the MiSTer, fine. It's just not for me. This is a good one from Cameron. This is gonna be a good one.
Hi guys, my name's Cameron. I've been a fan for years, and my question is for both of you. This has nothing to do with video games, but can you tell the difference between different types of water, like Deer Park, Fiji, and if so, what's your favorite? Or if you just don't care, that's great.
All right, Cameron, have some faith in your question, Cameron. Yes, we can tell the difference between waters because they have different mineral makeups and things like that. They come from different parts of the U.S. Well, I always talk about how Poland spring water is like one of the best waters ever. You can't get it out here, unfortunately. Deer Park was good from the East Coast. Ian's drinking Polar water. That's an East Coast brand with different flavors and things like that. Nestle water tastes like fucking runoff from off of runoff. There's no taste to Nestle water when I drink Nestle. It's so bland and non-tasty that I feel like gagging when I have Nestle water. You know, so there are different tastes of water. There absolutely is.
Yes, I don't get, too picky over it, but for instance, I don't buy Arrowhead water. I think Arrowhead water tastes like absolute
closer to Nestle
dog trash. It's gross.
Yeah.
I don't like Arrowhead water. It's so. Yes, I can tell the difference. I don't think it's a huge deal all the time. It's not so much that I have a favorite water. Most of the time, I just grab Crystal Geyser around here because it's what's available in the bottles.
I think he's probably talking about more plain water, though. Nothing.
No, Crystal Geysers.
They have a plain water?
Of course they do. It's not like they just make sparkling water. Crystal Geyser has just regular spring water.
Is it okay?
Yeah, it's fine. And that's what I usually drink. But I do avoid Arrowhead. There's something about Arrowhead water that is weird or gross to me.
It's like Nestle. You ever have Nestle water?
Yes.
It's fucking nasty, and I can't tell you why. There's just something weird about Nestle water.
Because it tastes like capitalism.
That's true, too.
I do have... what was I going to say? Oh, and I try to avoid like the... I try to avoid like the Aquafina and the Dasani water, the Pepsi water and the Coca-Cola.
Yeah, because
water.
they're just taking whatever was going to be dumped into the Coke or Pepsi, and which I think Nestle is Nestle Coke, Nestle water or whatever, and they're just putting it into bottles without adding the syrup. Like that's all they're doing. So it's just filtered. It's not spring water. It's filtered water.
So yes, I think anyone who, especially if you drink a lot of water, and water is the majority of what I drink throughout the day. I don't drink a lot of pop. You can definitely tell the difference. I don't get hoity-toity about it, but you can tell the difference.
Hey Ian and Pat, this is Dennis in Indianapolis. Besides Ivan Ironman Stewart's Super Off-Road and Danny Sullivan's Indy Heat on the NES, what are your top 3 favorite racing games for the platform? Thanks. Love the show.
Okay. I can open an app for that, but I have a couple in my head.
You're weird. I would say Eliminator.
I didn't say anything.
I would say Eliminator Boat Duel.
Yes, that would have been one of mine.
Eliminator Boat Duel. You don't need to open an app for that.
Because when I get to the third, I'm like, okay, does that one fit in or that one? He just got rid of 2 of them that I would have chosen.
Eliminator Boat Duel.
You sass me.
Rad Racer. And I always wanted to like Galaxy Race 5000.
It's okay. It's wonky and strange. It's fun. It's fun. It's
for an
fun.
Unlicensed game. There's
good. Action to it. Yeah, it's fun.
Pretty good. So I always
it's licensed. Galaxy 5000.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. Sorry, it is. So I always try to like that
game.
one. It is uncommon, and
I like Super Sprint. I was like single screen. I like Super Sprint. Its controls great. I mean, it gets old after a while, but
I think RC Pro M2 is very good.
Both RC Pros are good, but 2 is good because it has a split screen. Eliminator Boat Deal, you said that. We're already running out of really good ones. Obviously, Rad Racer is really good. And I've gotten better at it. When I was a kid, I could never get past the 3rd stage. Now I'm better at it. There is a little more nuance to that than I thought to Rad Racer when I got older. Yeah, I'm running out of ones at that point because Ian brought up Eliminator Boat Duel, and that's a great one.
Well, we can have the same ones.
Okay.
It's fine. Eliminator Boat Duel is very, very good, though.
4 stars. I gave it. And all of them have the top label has a spelling error, which is always fun.
Eliminator.
We'll do a couple more. This is from Samuel.
What up, Pat? What up, Ian?
Hi.
Level and Moose from Texas. if you guys had to make a all-star beat 'em up for, Nintendo, PlayStation, for whatever console, what would y'all do and why? Appreciate what y'all do. Check y'all later.
All-star beat 'em up. That's kind of harder to come up with it because, so it'll be a 4-player one, so you need 4 guys. All-star beat 'em up.
I'm not exactly sure what that question entails, but I would love to see a Final Fight versus Streets of Rage.
Or you can use either one and have enemies from both?
I would love to have a crossover Final Fight Streets of Rage.
But what graphic style would you go more towards? Final Fight? You had to choose one?
Oh, God, that's tough.
It
would be fun to see the Streets of Rage guys as like the bigger Final Fight style sprites, but I like the style, especially I would love to see the Final Fight characters drawn in the style of Streets of Rage 4. I would love to see that.
So I haven't played Streets of Rage games in forever, so I got to refresh myself with this series. I know they were fun, but I played them in the 90s. I don't think I've played them since then. Let's see, what would be one for me? So you want to do like a Street Fighter times Tekken thing, basically, is what you want to do with that. I don't know.
Battletoads, more like a Battletoads versus Double Dragon. Mix the two together.
Sure. Let's see. Would it be for me if I did how about a Tecmo a fighting game? So you get Ninja Gaiden in there. You get a Tecmo Bowl football guy in there. You get Rygar in there.
But are they talking a fighting game or a beat 'em up?
Well, it's a beat 'em up. That's what I mean. Yeah. So I'm talking about a brawler. You get Rygar in there. That could be fun. Didn't Captain Commando kind of try to do that a little bit in a way, but it was just weird because it was just it's just Captain Commando and some other weird properties. I don't know if there was any mixed in. I think about it.
I don't think there was any mixed in.
Okay, but I want a Tecmo beat 'em up. I got to think of a fourth one. Mighty Bomb Jack. There you go. You get Bomb Jack throwing bombs. I think that'd be cute. All right, we're gonna do one more here. This is from Zach.
Pat and Ian, it's Noob's Delight from Wisconsin. A while back, Ian mentioned beer cheese dip, and you haven't really lived until you've had Wisconsin beer cheese dip, since Wisconsin is the land of beer and cheese. What's the best way to get it to you?
Well, I guess by mail. That's the way to do it.
Drilling a little bit. I will always take beer cheese. Yeah.
I mean,
I would love to try it. Thank you, please. Thank you.
You want to give out the business address and mail it to there? All right, mail your bill cheese. Mail your beer cheese to Country Code Productions, 1180 Rosecrans Street, number 555, San Diego, California, 92106. I haven't given out a P.O. box in a while. I still have the P.O. box. I never check it because it's a little bit further away from me than it used to be. But you can mail us your beer cheese there. Hopefully, does it keep at all?
I mean, you would have to be, ready to go pick it up. You can't just leave fucking beer cheese sitting in a P.O. box.
All right, don't mail it there. Get in touch with Ian. Send it to Ian directly, privately.
DM me.
I didn't think about that.
DM me on Twitter. Do you have a Twitter account? DM me at PXLSICLE.
Yeah, send your non-perishable goods to my business address. You can do that there. So anyway, all right, that's it. You can again go to anchor.fm/the CU podcast, and we'll have another one next week or week after. We got a bunch to go through those still, but that was fun, right?
Yeah.